Right, so it is day 130, I think, of my attempt to plant a tree every day for 2023, so let's get on with it. Right, so today we are heading back underneath the sycamore fig, which is one of the deciduous figs. It has quite a slow deciduous character, so it usually doesn't lose all its leaves catastrophically, which means it creates a quite nice, even graduation to brighter light. It's never that bright under here, it's never that dark, because it's not that dense canopied in full leaf, and it's not that open even when it has no leaves. It's got a lot of dense branching, so it's quite a good one for plants that want a little bit of shelter, and we're going in the least sheltered part of that because today we're planting a plant that should probably go in full sun. So this is very much a compromise because we're trying to find the balance between etiolation and dehydration. So etiolation is when a tree grows very tall and slender and fragile because it is growing in too dark an environment, and it's basically not getting the stimulus to turn off growth hormone, which means it just keeps stretching up, which is a way that a lot of plants end up reaching light, especially a lot of the climbers. They etiolate in the absence of the light turning off their growth hormone, and then they get into the light. With a lot of trees that self-support on their own stems, that etiolation can make them really fragile, especially if that sort of shelter isn't complete. If it's just shelter from light and not from the other elements, then they can become very, very fragile, and they don't ever reach their full potential and crumble and die. And today we're planting a banana, and there are a lot of varieties of banana this would not be an appropriate level of light for because the weight of the bunch would basically break it. But these are a local variety. I will show a little clip of some of the fruits that are currently forming. It's quite a small banana, and the bunches themselves are not overly large, and so they can etiolate quite a lot without it creating a problem for them. They're not inclined to break and fall over. As with our previous banana plantings, we're going to be doing a little bit of bait and switch with companion planting, so we're going to be planting things that are similar enough structurally and in sort of taxonomy that a lot of the same pest insects will see them as food plants, but different enough they shouldn't be that palatable to those pests, and they certainly shouldn't be a host for a lot of the banana's diseases. So we're going to go with the Hedychium coronatum, which I did use on the last one. This is the butterfly ginger. It's not that useful as a spice. I know it is consumed as a famine food, and quite often the shoots are eaten as a vegetable. I am also going to be putting one that is quite a good spice, which is the galangal, which is Alpinia galangal, which is a South Asian, very important spice in a lot of Malaysian and Thai cookery. Then we're going to be putting in a fern, which is just going to be a little bit of very different plant, because ferns are very primitive plants. So this is actually one of the sword ferns. Sword ferns can become very invasive, so do be aware of that and try and make sure you're planting one that is native if it's somewhere that it is likely to escape. Fortunately, first off, we're not anywhere near a river, which is where sword ferns tend to escape and become invasive, and secondly, this species is native everywhere within the tropics. It's quite a wide range of distribution. This is the giant sword fern. And then we're going to be putting in one of the spiral gingers, whose name I have completely forgotten, and it is a very stubborn one. I will put the name up on screen because it has flowered recently, so I do know that. But this is actually going to grow out and spread, because unlike true gingers, the spiral gingers can root from anywhere along the stem, so wherever they touch the ground they tend to root, and then you get a sort of thicket spreading out, which should be a nice way of creating a nice little barrier, a little humidity barrier, a little heat barrier around our banana tree. And then finally we're going to be going with, as usual, a calico. This is probably most shade and moisture tolerant calico we have, other than the very similar Calico prolifera. This is Calico pinnata, and I do feel the names of those are back to front, but that's in another video. Right, so that should be everything for today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please excuse the dogs squeaking in the background. I think they can see the monkey, which always sets them off a little bit. Please tune in again tomorrow. I will be planting something different. I don't quite know what yet, so we can find out together.